Alright, so this past Sunday I went through and I did the fluid change for the 1,000-mile service. It was a bit rushed. I had a chapter ride coming up and I was a bit past my 1,000 miles, so I really wanted to get the fluids changed. The tools that I used were this oil catcher drain oil funnel. It's a Harley part. Trying to find, doesn't have the part number on it, but you'll see it in the video. Looks like that. I used the multi-fit oil filter wrench. Let's see if it'll focus. Come on, there you go. And there's the part number for it. It worked much better than the adjustable wrench. I mean, it fit right on the bottom, came right off, no issues, plenty of room. The oil filter that I used was part number 63731-99A. It's their super premium black oil filter. I do believe they make a chrome one. So those of you guys that are into bling, you can get a chrome oil filter, but it's their 5 micron. I needed a new low profile drain oil pan. The Harley oil pan, surprisingly, was relatively inexpensive. I think it was like 23 bucks. But if you're interested, the Harley oil drain pan, it's part number 63795-10. It's a pretty robust pan. You know, it's Harley, whatever. It's got the little barn shield on it. And for the primary oil fill funnel, this little Dumaflaci. You may need it, you may not. I mean, I probably could have tipped the primary case fluid in without making a mess, but it's there. It was pretty cheap. I think it was 8 bucks or something. It's part number 63797-10. Works pretty good. So those of you that are gonna watch this video, just fair warning, it was kind of rushed. So you might not have as much detail as I normally would. And I had an 8-year-old assistant a little bit later on. And sorry guys, family comes first. If she wants to help on the bike, I'm going to let her help on the bike. And you'll have to deal with some shaky camera. I will post the extracts from the service manual that will include the step-by-step that you can download. This portion of the video does not have the clutch adjustment or the steering bearing, the fork bearings, or whatever you want to call them. The steering head bearings doesn't have the check on those. You need a wonky little fish scale or something, and you got to jack the front end up and see how much drag, pull, all kind of that. But I'll do another video where I do the clutch adjustment, because the new Softail's got this weird kind of, you got to push the button, pop the spring, and do all this other crazy stuff. But I'll make sure to record that. So right now, this will get you through your fluids. This will know that all the drain plugs are the same. All the gaskets I got from Amazon, although I did mention that I got it from Craigslist. I don't know what the hell. I've been Craigslisting too much here lately. So Harley does make a kit. Those of you that want to ride down to the dealership, they make a kit. Comes with 3 O-rings and the Derby O-ring gasket, whatever you want to call it. I think it's 8 bucks, 10 bucks, something like that. You can get it right from the dealer. It's got everything you need to do the service, minus the filter and fluids. So the Redline Power Pack works out great. I mean, it had everything under the sun that I needed. You will have an extra quart of oil when you're done. You know, I guess if you do enough services, eventually you'll have enough extra oil to do a complete service. I ordered it off Amazon. It was prime shipping. It was $97. I think it was another 13 bucks for the extra quart of primary case lube, which I won't need for the next service because there's enough left over that I could use what I already have. So came in a nice box, got all the little swag with it, and its oil analysis is much better. As I drive, as I've ridden probably 20 miles since I've done the service, and it shifts smoother. There's less clunkiness to it. You know, maybe it's a placebo, maybe it's in my head that, you know, hey, I bought this fancy oil, now all of a sudden everything's great. You know, I probably added 600 horsepower to it. but I perceive it to shift smoother. There's not that kind of crunch going on when you're making changes. So without further ado, here's the fluid services, and have at it. Here in the next couple of days, I will do the review on the Sundowner seat. I've probably got enough, finally got enough saddle time in it that I'm willing to talk to you guys about it, and I finally had enough saddle time to review the Amazon edge cut mirrors I put on, which will surprise you. They're definitely worth the money spent. So, all right, later, guys.
All right, so I kind of got a jump on working on the service on the bike. You can see right here, this back one is the oil drain. That bolt comes out of it. It has a magnet on the top that you want to check for any metal debris, things like that. It has an O-ring that needs to be replaced, and this one is for the primary. You want to do the same thing, check for schmutz on top. It actually comes out from right there. There's your jiffy stand, and there's the drain for the primary. And the transmission is, let's see, I'll have to go to the other side, but it's right there, right in front of this this cross member on the right side. And it's also, they're the exact same drain plugs. They use a 5/8. They're a 5/8 socket. Word of the wise, when you are popping the back oil one, make sure you have your drain pan kicked all the way back, because it makes a nice little rainbow. I got a little bit of oil on the thing. I'll have to make sure I clean up my tires and stuff before I take off. But alright, one of the other little things is, once you pop the derby cover, they are T27s, comes off. It has a rubber gasket on the inside that we'll be replacing. I'll give you a rundown of all the Harley tools. This is the fill adapter for the primary. You come up here, you've got your oil filter tucked up under here, and I bought the Harley oil filter wrench. I'm trying to get it off the old one as I dump oil everywhere. Alright, there's the Harley version. They've got two kinds. They've got one that's kind of like, it snugs up when you twist it, but it doesn't fit real well in between the cylinder heads and stuff. This one fits right onto the base of the oil filter, takes a 3/8 extension, comes right off. Nifty little trick that Harley has are these under filter drain catchers for when you pop the filter. It runs down a tube, and you align it into your drain pan. It's to keep the oil from coming down the front of the motor looking like you've got a leak somewhere else. Remember, when you put it back on, a little bit of clean oil on the O-ring. It's like here on the old one. You put a little bit of clean oil around the O-ring and put it on hand tight. You don't want to, do not use the wrench to apply the filter. It is only for taking it off. So, alright, and like I said, we got this. When you fill the primary, it's basically going to be to the bottom opening is where it's going to go to. I think it's 38 ounces or something. I'll put the spec sheets and stuff up. Alright, went ahead and switched the derby gasket. This is the original Harley one. This is the one I replaced it with, and I got a genuine James gasket. I got off of Craigslist. JGI's 17369-06. It says it's for 06 and up twin cams, but it's the same part number for the Milwaukee 8s. Real simple. You just pull the old one out and kind of walk your finger around and put the new one in. The James gasket doesn't, I mean, it looks to be on par with the quality of the Harley one. I'll hang on to the Harley one because it really doesn't look hurt, but You know, it's one of those that it's supposed to be changed every time you do a fluid service on the primary. So we'll change it. Now we also have every one of the drain plugs gets a new O-ring, and I got these in a 50 pack from Amazon again. Their part number is 11105 is the Harley part number, and I think the 50 pack was like $4. Every single one of the drain plugs uses the exact same O-ring, so I'll have plenty of O-rings for, you know, fluid services later without having to worry about buying more. Alright, for fluids I'm going to go with the Redline V-Twin Power Pack. It comes with everything you need for a Milwaukee 8, except you need one more quart of primary case oil for literally like 3 ounces, I think. It does warn you on the side. Well, we can see that. Yeah, Milwaukee 8, 2000 up, and 2000 up HD motorcycles. It tells you need that extra thing of primary fluid. Now it comes with all the oil. It comes with the primary case oil. It comes with the transmission oil or the gear oil. It comes with a funnel. Nifty pack, and it's Redline. You know, it's quality oil. If you've ever been on Bob's the Oil Guy and you've looked at some of the reviews for, or the oil analysis for Harley oil, it is not a promising picture. So Redline usually always holds up. It stacks up. Some people go with AMSOIL. This was a nice convenient package, right around $100. It came with everything I need and gives you a nice little funnel. So we're gonna bust that open and start putting some fluids back in. Oh yeah, I forgot about the extras that came with it. It has it comes with a bottle of complete fuel system cleaner. Like I said, it comes with a pretty cool funnel, the obligatory stickers, and you know, a nice little hat, I guess. You can always have something for the hat collection. But the funnel's kind of cool. I mean, you don't need it for the primary, but makes probably the transmission and all the other jazz. It's different, nifty. I'm sure it works just fine. Kind of cool. Alright, so let's get to filling. Now remember, when you're tightening these back up, you're going to need to go in a star pattern, just like you would do lug nuts, so that you, when you snug them back down, you know, jump back and forth, so everything gets pulled down evenly, and you'll get a nice seal. Make sure you start all the screws by hand, and then just kind of work your way around, slowly pulling the cover back down. Now I'll post all the torque specs and everything for all this, and I'll probably even put up the service manual portion from what I downloaded in my other video, because I just really think everybody should have the information to do their own service. So I'll clip that out. I'll dump it somewhere that you guys can get it, and then you can see all the actual graphics and torque specs and all that stuff. Alright, for those of you that haven't noticed it yet, this right here is your oil check dipstick, also your oil fill spot. So we're going to go ahead and put some oil in it.
Okay, it's on.
So we're just putting the oil in. It takes 3.8 quarts, 20 weight 50. Did you have a good day at church?
Mm-hmm.
Fun at church?
Yep. I got candy. We had a stack candy.
Stack candy?
Yeah. Because we had to stack this other type of candy because they couldn't find any gummy bears. Are you seriously gonna upload this to YouTube? Ooh.
Alright, they give you 5 quarts, but you don't need them. So we'll probably put in most of this one, and then we'll check the level.
I want to show myself in this so bad.
Go ahead, flip it around.
Hello.
Almost full. And now remember, we got a dry oil filter, so once we kind of bump this around, it'll take a little bit more.
Okay. Oh. Oh, I found out what you meant.
What?
Like that.
By what?
Like that. Because you couldn't do it like that on the other side.
Make sure dipstick is clean. And we put it back in. You can stop it right now.
Huh?
You can stop it right now. I gotta figure out where to go next.
How do you stop it?
Press the red button.
Stop it.
Turn them out. You're gonna take the right side cover off. Be careful.
All of them?
Yep. This is how we're going to get to the transmission fill port. Both of you. Alright, should pull out. And now this just kind of wiggles off because it's on that little rubber grommet thing right there. See?
Like that?
Alright. Now, pull this little plastic cover out.
What plastic cover? This one?
Nope. And then right there is the transmission fill port.
And what is that problem?
I have to take it out so I can put fluid in it.
Oh. How do you...
Alright, so there's the fill port stick. That came apart. It took a 3/8 Allen. It came right out. It wasn't in very tight at all. You want to inspect the O-ring. Show me the O-ring. You want to inspect the O-ring around the outside. Make sure it's not damaged. If it's damaged, you can replace it, but it shouldn't be. So now we'll use that that funky funnel that they gave us.
Can I pour the oil in?
Yeah, we might be able to let you pour the oil in. Alright, let me try to get this funnel rearranged and then we'll talk about pouring some oil in. Well, I guess this funky funnel came in used for something. Those of you with the hydraulic preload adjuster, it kind of gets in the way, so you got to put a little upward pressure or it won't drain down. Alright, that wasn't too horrible, was it?
Nope.
That wasn't too horrible. And that's pretty much it. That's all the fluids. So, we'll let this kind of... Get some paper towels, move this over. Alright. Just put this on the workbench.
And I helped them.
Yes, you did. Alright. Now,
Weep.
we have the fill plug. Okay. It goes...
I have to get used to it.
Yep, and it goes right back in there. Use your fingers to kind of get it started.
How do you zoom in?
Maybe just walk around the corner. Don't get too close because it'll blur out.
Oh.
This thing's a little booger. Alright, so maybe it helps.
I'll stop here and then I'll go back. Okay? So it's like it skipped it. He got it.
Alright, so took a little fiddle farting. Kind of helped if I took one finger over top. I'll just put the Allen key in there and kind of spin it down.
Being a camera girl is hard.
Hmm?
I said being a camera girl is hard.
Being a camera girl is hard, huh?
Yeah.
And don't make it your lifelong ambition to be a camera girl.
Because you have to get the right angle.
Alright. Now it wasn't very tight to begin with, so I'm just going to give it a little snug with the ratchet. And look,
I want to try that.
this one seems really soft, baby.
Oh, okay.
Alright, and don't drop your Allen key like I just did, or you'll be fishing for it.
I don't want to fish for it. I have tiny fingers. I got it right there. Got it.
Alright, good job. Alright, now we put this little plastic cover back on. There is a notch. I don't know if you can, it's not wanting to focus. There's a notch right there that lines up a little tab down there. And there's 2 little tabs here and here. So we'll kind of slide that down, get those in, and get that seated in. Alright, now we need to put the side cover back on. Careful.
I'm trying.
Alright, that's pretty much it to all the fluid changes.